Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode here on the DEANO Show. Great to be back with you all for this week's episode on Thursday. Like we said last week episode, wheels are back on the wagon #1, and every Thursday, new DEANO Show episode. So set your calendars, set your reminders, do it every Thursday. I don't have the exact time yet. We will be getting there. 9:30, 10 o'clock Eastern. Don't exactly know yet, but somewhere in that general ballpark. So set your calendars, set your reminders, like the video, comment down below any topics you want me to talk about or anything, any guests that want to come on. Drop a comment down below. I'd love to have you on. And subscribe. Thank you very much. So, as you can see, got some new topics here that you kind of see what the whole show is going to be about. Figured I'd get a little more professional with you all, make it a little more formal, look better. And nothing better than the New York Knicks right now. That's a big win. One, because now it kind of takes the pressure off Game 2, where if you kind of lose Game 2, it's okay, you're going 1-1 back to New York. But if you win Game 2, now you're going 2-0 back to New York, a chance to sweep, which would make it, they've won now 12 in a row, which is absolutely out of this world. So it would be 13, 14, 15. They would be 15 games in a row, NBA championship, New York Knicks, New York City is going up in flames if they win the NBA championship, especially if they go 4-0, which I highly doubt they will. I don't think the Spurs are going to get swept. I think Spurs and Knicks are a really good matchup. But yeah, what a game one. See, like that's the type of NBA that I actually like to watch. Yes, it's the finals, but it's just higher intensity. There's actually way more defense. It's not flop city like it was Thunder Spurs. Like it's just very intense. Good ball movement, basketball, hitting good shots. That Brunson shot, by the way, in the fourth quarter to go up 6 points, that 2-footer where he kind of jabbed into Vassell and then whoop. I mean, yeah, that was pretty. That was pretty. Look, never been a good basketball player. Maybe back in like high school when I played, I think like it wasn't intramural, but I played like some after-school basketball. I was a perimeter shooter guy. Just around the three-pointer, nothing, never driving. I was an assister. I was a shooter in the three in the corner. Green bean. That was me. Green Bean Dean. That was me, Green Bean Dean. But yeah, basketball is a fun sport. Look, like I said, if the New York Knicks win an NBA championship this year, that would be insane. Really good for New York because the New York sports, although it's one of the biggest market in all the world, they have done nothing. The last New York championship was the Giants, and then before that it was the Yankees in '09. Like it hasn't really been much going on in New York the last decade and a half or so. So we'll see. Definitely a lot of basketball to be played left, but like I said, you're kind of playing with house money in Game 2. You lose, you're going 1-1 back to your home court. You win, you're up 2-0, going back home even better. So definitely we'll be watching Game 2. I'm actually working the night of Game 2, so hopefully the restaurant's kind of buzzing, get the good energy going, and go Knicks, man. Go Knicks. Now over to Queens, we go to the New York Mets. Look, the Mariners, Mets, both teams were coming in hot, both on high game win streaks. You lose 2, you win the last, we'll take it. Would have liked to see a series win? Absolutely. Game 1 kind of got away from us. Look, in extra innings, I don't know why when you have the free runner on third base, or on the second base, it's not an automatic bunt, advance to runner, third, sac fly. Like, I do not know why every manager has their team do that. I don't know why. Put the ball in play. Just put the ball in play, pass the baton, next man up. Get the free runner home, especially when you're away. Like, that should be an automatic lock that you do as a manager. I don't know why every team doesn't do it, but I'm not a manager. But if I was a manager and we went to extra innings, my team would be bunting, first batter, advance the runner to third, sac fly. Old-fashioned baseball. Keep it simple. Next man up, pass the baton. But look, got a big series against San Diego, who's been playing meh. Fernando Tatis Jr., what is going on with that guy? He had his second home run or first home run a couple weeks ago, and we're already in June? Pretty crazy. With a talent like that, you'd expect him to probably have at least 10 homers at this rate, or at this far in the season. But that Mason Miller closer, dude, tough-ass walkout. And yes, he throws gas. The Mets, I was kind of hoping the Mets were going to pick him up last year in the trade deadline, but didn't obviously work out, and now he's pretty much locked in with the Padres. So again, tough series, but I just need consistency from the Mets. Just consistency. It was 2 weeks ago, we went down to Miami, and for some reason, whenever we play the Marlins, they are the best team in all of baseball. They just love beating the New York Mets. Something about us two playing one another. Divisional rivalry, yes, but They just play lights out baseball. Nope. Every other team they'll play is just air after air, not good baseball. But whenever it's the Mets in town, they're the best team to ever play baseball. I think we had a total of 2 runs in 3 games. And then the Marlins came to New York and played them last weekend. The Mets put up like 26 runs over 3 games and swept the series. Like, yes, baseball is one of those sports where you got to ride the lows and you got to ride the highs. I'm aware of that, but I don't know. It's crazy. The Marlins just play really good baseball against us. And, it's funny, actually, our last game of the season last year, when we knew we weren't going to the playoffs, it was against the Marlins. And I remember Lindor grounded into a double play, or he just grounded out to end the series and end our season. But something about the Marlins and the Mets, Marlins just love playing really good baseball against us. But I hope the Mets, back to my original point, I hope the Mets can just build momentum and start playing more consistent baseball and start winning more series. And it's funny, after game 1, when they lost in extras, I was talking to my dad the next day, and I woke up in the morning and I checked my phone and saw they lost. And it's one of those things like the NHL where if you go to overtime, you automatically get half a point. And I had that same exact thought, maybe the MLB should introduce something like that, where if a game goes to extra innings, the losing team gets half a point, like they do in the NHL. Who knows? Maybe it would be pretty cool for the MLB to introduce something like that into the game. I don't know if they really would or could, or how that would all kind of work out and whatnot. But it'd be cool to see if you go to extra innings, you automatically get half a point like they do in the NHL. But big series against the Padres, and as always, man, LFGM. And look, like I said in last week's episode, not giving up on the Mets just yet. Won't do it. June is a big month. I feel like this month, the next month and a half or so, really kind of make or break the season. Because if you come out of June and you're above 500 with your record, I like our chances to even get into the wild card. We're not going to win the division. That's clear. The Braves are on an absolute tear. Best team in baseball, hands down. Bullpen's just been lights out. Acuna's back on fire. They're just playing really good baseball. Division's out of our control at this point. But we got to get into the wild card. And like I said, I will not give up on the Mets just yet. I should have talked about this in last week's episode, but the UCL Champions League, arguably the biggest sport or biggest soccer tournament besides the World Cup, which we'll get into later in the show. PSG Arsenal, I gotta love PSG. Me and Desire Doué, we go way back. I met him in Times Square. We'll pull up the photo right here. Boop. I was in Times Square with my Swedish cousins and my American cousins, and yeah, I was just looking around Times Square and whatnot, and it was last summer when Real Madrid, PSG, a couple of, I think Chelsea was also here, but there were other teams that were in New York playing at MetLife, and I looked to my left and I kind of did a double take. I was like, wait, is that Doué? And then the more I kind of looked at him, I was like, oh my God, that's Desire Doué. So I went over there, asked for a flick, had a couple conversations for a couple minutes. Really cool dude. English, either he didn't want to talk to me, which I would understand, or his English was bad that day, but, said hello, wished him good luck. So that was pretty cool. The Star Boy, they call him. That dude's a stud. He's a pretty good soccer player. And look, soccer is one of those sports that I played when I was really young, and then I played club soccer in college. It's a fun sport. Definitely cardio heavy for sure, so it's good in that sense, but those players on TV make it look way too easy, like in pretty much all professional sports you watch on TV. But soccer in particular, the way they can just catch a ball from 30 yards and just touch it, one touch every single time, it's effortless. So good on PSG for bringing home the Champions League back to back. Look, I hate that they end in PKs. It just sucks. I'd want to have an actual game winner, an actual ender. But after 120 minutes of football and no score, I get it. It's time to go to PKs and determine a winner. I feel really bad for the guy who's going to be the one to either get saved or completely miss the net. In this case, it was Gabriel, who just completely skied his penalty. You just got to feel bad for the guy. He actually played a really good game too, and he just happened to be the one put in the toughest situation possible. Whole team on his back, whole city on your back, and you just sky a penalty. It's a tough look, but it's also a tough position. You got millions and billions of eyeballs watching you. I mean, hey, if I was up there, I'm probably not scoring. Nowhere near scoring. I'm not that very good at soccer. I'd like to think I could maybe score one. Maybe not. I don't know. I'd want to try. I guess we'll never know, but it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot. You got to feel for the guy. I definitely was like, ugh. Someone had to do it, though. That's the thing. And that's the beauty of sports. There's always a winner and always a loser. And now to arguably the biggest sport, the biggest tournament in the entire world, the World Cup. We got games starting in, I think, a week from today. We'll have our first match, or maybe we play on the 12th, but we're in Group C or D. I can't exactly remember, but I think we got Paraguay, Turkey, and Australia. And I think it's the top 3 teams out of those that make it. I don't know exactly how the group stages work, completely honest, but I know we all play each other once, and then the team with the best record obviously advances. So look, expectations aren't crazy for Team USA. They never really have been, but I like to see them make a decent run. And you know, it's kind of funny. I wasn't really into that soccer back in 2022 when the actual World Cup was going on. Didn't really have too much knowledge of players, and I wasn't really there for like all the hype of it. Even though I watched a lot of the games and whatnot. But now that I've logged way too many hours onto FIFA back in college and Ultimate Team and doing all these foot drafts and all this stuff, I've honestly learned a lot about soccer, which is, what got me into the Champions League, which got me into the World Cup. And it's a really, really amazing sport, like I said. And it's fun to watch. And especially the World Cup is arguably the biggest stage in all the world. And to see, we got Messi coming back, we got Ronaldo coming back. Seasoned veterans right there. 2 of the 2 best of all time. This is definitely their last World Cup. I honestly thought that it was both their last World Cup in 2022. But they're coming back for this year's World Cup in the States, which is also crazy. We're going to have games going on all over the country. I think some in Mexico and Canada as well, too. So that's really cool. And look, I'm very happy that it's in the States, even though I won't be attending any of the games, unfortunately, because ticket prices are out of the wazoo. I was already looking at some ticket prices for MetLife. It was $1,000 to at least get yourself in the door. Maybe I was looking at the actual World Cup final, but I couldn't get in there for under $1,000. So yes, I don't have that money at my age, and I definitely don't have that money to spend on a singular soccer event, even though it is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You'll remember that game forever. I mean, people spend their entire life savings to go to a World Cup game. So it would be amazing to do one, but at this stage and at this point in time in my life, can't make it happen, unfortunately. But, it'd be really cool to see Team USA make a run. They haven't really done much in the World Cup the last couple years. Again, my knowledge really only is until 2022. I think when Tim Howard was the goalie, which would have been not 2018, maybe 2018 or 14 or so, they had a pretty decent run. I just want to see them at least be competitive. Get out of the group stage, for crying out loud. Definitely get out of the group stage. It's on our home turf. Don't make us look too bad. And enjoy it. It's like the best sporting event ever. One, because it happens every 4 years. And I remember when the France-Argentina game ended, I was like, crap, we're going to have to wait another 4 years for this to happen. And that's what kind of makes it so special, is the anticipation of the 4 years and building up to it. So now that we're finally here, now that we're finally happening, games are in a week, this is going to be sweet. Really, really exciting time. NBA playoffs going on, World Cup finals, MLB baseball, golf. Good time to be a sports fan. Definitely a good time to be a sports fan. Which brings me to my next point. Stanley Cup playoffs. We got Vegas, Carolina. Game 1 was the other night. One of the best hockey games. Playoff hockey, like I said in last week's episode, is the best sport to watch, hands down. The most entertaining, the most physical, the most just, I just want it more than you. I'm going to play on a broken leg, and I'm going to bring home the Stanley Cup. Carolina takes a 2-0 lead. Vegas goes 3-2, 3-3, 4-3 Vegas, 4-4, 5-4. I mean, it was one of the most back-and-forth games I'd ever really seen or watched. Those are the best types of games, especially on the biggest stage and the Stanley Cup. Look, both those teams could easily win it. I don't really know who's going to come out on top. I would like to see it go 7. I'm pretty neutral as to who I want to win. I just want good hockey. I just want a good series. And I just want to see it go to 7 because, like I said, neutral, good hockey, good game. But that's kind of the whole sports wrap for this part of the DEANO show. I like to bring some sports into this, and then we can get into the more serious topics later in the show and what I have planned for you guys. But yeah, that's what's going on in the sports world. Hope you guys are paying attention because it's an exciting time to be a sports fan. A lot of good stuff going on right now. And like always, let's go Mets. And now we'll transition into the more other topics that I have planned for the show, which are Culinary Works documentary, which I put out a couple weeks ago. That was a lot of fun to make. You know, I like documentaries. They're fun to make. They're real. They're just kind of not as scripted as TV and movie shows and all that type of stuff. So I did that for my mom's Culinary Works. And if you aren't familiar with what Culinary Works is or you are, I'll give you a little rundown about it. Cooking school, hosts private and corporate cooking events where you come in, pick a menu, and depending on the size, you know, each person or each group cooks a certain dish, and then you all have the meal at the end of the night. So that was kind of a whole story as to how it was started back when I was, I think in 2001, when I wasn't even born yet, all the way up to this present and current day, and kind of a behind the scenes of what that all looks like and what it's been like to run Culinary Works for the last 23 years or so. So check that out. Link is in the description down below. Had a lot of fun creating the documentary, and it was fun. I'm proud of it. And yeah, check that out. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys in this week's episode of the DEANO Show. Feel free, comment down below any topics you'd like me to discuss on this show. I'd be happy to discuss any. So drop a comment, drop a like, and as always, I appreciate all you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and that's another episode of the DEANO Show. I will see you guys next week. Peace.